Monday, President Obama's health care law goes on trial when the Supreme Court begins hearing a lawsuit that was filed by 26 states' attorneys general. They're challenging the individual mandate. That's the section of the law that requires Americans to have to purchase health insurance. The AGs say that's unconstitutional. One of them is Attorney General Greg Abbott from Texas. He's with us now. Greg, it's great to have you here.
Governor,
thank you.
Thank you.
I know you share with me the concern for Vice President Cheney as he recovers from a heart transplant that we just learned about before the show.
Remarkable man, remarkable American. We wish him all the best in his recovery.
You know, there aren't many public officials who are able to do their jobs and yet do it from a wheelchair. You are able to do that. Tell us about the powerful personal journey, and then I want to talk about the health care law.
Well, I'm really blessed. About 25 years ago, I was out jogging one day, and a big tree fell on me while I was jogging, and it crashed down on my back, crushing vertebrae in my spinal cord, leaving me forever paralyzed. But, you know, I learned something, Governor, that I think lies within the heart of all Americans and all human beings, and that is that we find that our lives are not defined by how we're challenged, but by how we respond to those challenges. And if you rely...
Very powerful.
With faith, with family, I was able to piece my life back together and run statewide in a state the size of Texas. And it shows that it doesn't matter what your physical challenges are, as long as you're truly committed to what you're doing and you're committed to God, you can do anything.
Well, I know this. You're one of the most popular and effective public officials in the state of Texas, and you're going to be with your colleagues, other attorneys general from around the country, at the Supreme Court this week. What's the biggest issue that you hope the court will pay attention to in regards to Obamacare?
First, I'm proud of my fellow state AGs. More than half of the states in this country are suing our country because our country has done something it's never done before in the history of the country. From the time of George Washington through the time of George Bush, never has Congress passed a law compelling and forcing all Americans to go out and purchase a product. In this instance, they're using the Constitution to try to force everyone to purchase health care insurance. Now, we all agree that we can do a better job with regard to health care and health insurance, but however noble the cause, Congress cannot trample the Constitution to achieve that noble goal. And that's what Congress did.
One of the big questions that I have politically, I know where most Americans stand. I mean, the polls overwhelmingly show that people want it to be repealed. But let's talk about the legal realities. How likely do you think it is that the Supreme Court will overturn part or all of Obamacare when they take this case?
There's some very solid reasons why the Supreme Court can easily rule that Obamacare is unconstitutional. And in doing so, the court is upholding the decision we got. You know, when the state attorneys general filed our lawsuit, we won in the trial court, we won in the Court of Appeals. All we need is for the Supreme Court to agree with that and affirm that. And here's why they can do it. One, the law is unprecedented. Never before in the history of this country has there been a law like this. The Supreme Court doesn't have to overturn anything in order to uphold this law. Two, the law is unlimited in scope. If this law is upheld, there won't be a dividing line that will limit Congress's power going forward. If they can make you buy health care insurance, they can make you buy water, food, clothing, shelter, anything
Don't
Congress
give them
wants
any
you to buy.
ideas,
Exactly.
Greg. That'll be the next thing that the Congress will pass.
But, Governor, here's the last thing, and that is the law is unnecessary. If Congress really wanted to address the problem, they had a constitutional way of doing it through tax and spend authority, not any idea there, but they could have done it in another way. They chose an unconstitutional path to achieve a goal that otherwise may have some merit. And so I think the court has grounds to strike it down. One last thing that you brought up first, and that is the law is incredibly unpopular. Polls show a majority of Americans not only dislike it, a majority of Americans think it is unconstitutional. So the court is not going to be striking down something that's strongly embraced by Americans. The court is going to be on the side of Americans by ruling with the states and striking down Obamacare.
Well, you got a front